Well, we've got a bit of an interesting topic, okay? And did anybody listen to the intro music? Did anybody listen to the intro music? Okay. What was the title of the song that was playing when you guys came in? What do you
Help.
guys think? What was
Help.
the title of the
You know
song?
I need somebody help.
Help.
Not just
Okay.
anybody help.
And so inside this session, you've got several coaches. So the theme of tonight's session is coach, can you help me with blank? Okay. And
How
as
much, Marcelo, I have a problem here. How much are we
you have a
charging for
problem.
this? Yeah, how much are we charging for this? Because that doesn't make sense. Are we going to give free advice? Is that no? That doesn't sound right.
Well, I don't know that it's advice, but the question says help,
I need somebody.
help.
Okay,
Yeah. So I don't know that we'll be giving advice so
I
much
like
as
it.
we're going to help.
Okay, I
Okay.
like it. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Most folks think that a coach is there to advise. And actually, if I were going to say advice as a coach, it's about that much. So I'm hoping what we do tonight is help.
I love it. All right.
Cool. So I want to direct you guys to this particular Jam board that we've got set up. Okay. And so we've got several different questions, okay, that have been combed through the internet, from the internet, with the interwebs, of different sorts of questions that a coach can typically get asked. Like, how do I get technical practices into a team? Well, what metrics can I help my agile team with? What is agile culture, Rick? I don't get this culture business. What is that? Okay. And what's a cross-functional team anyway? Okay. I confess to you that we probably won't get through all of these because these are very deep questions. Okay. So what I want to do is Ricardo, if we can put the link, if we can put the link up there, we can put the link up there. All right. I'm going to put a page. I'm going to put a page in here into the Jamboard if it lets me. Okay, there we go. Right. So if we could paste the link in the chat.
There it is, coach. So everyone, if you can go to the Zoom chat, there is the link to join the Jamboard.
Awesome.
So
thank you. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to go into the Jamboard and scroll about. Okay. And hopefully some of you are familiar with the usage of Jamboards. Okay. Because what I'd like to do is I'd like you guys to go across the different pages and looking at the different pages, I want you to come back and give us, let's start off with the top 3 questions across all the other Jam boards, okay, that you think you would like some help with. And I want to put it back to you guys. Which one of these questions do you find valuable? Okay. And so as you scroll through the Jam board, you can look at the questions. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to crowdsource the help. And the way we're going to do this, okay, is as you guys look at the different pages, come back to this page, page number 2, okay, and grab a sticky and tell us which one of these questions is valuable to you. For example, I'm going to put up as an example, extreme programming and Scrum. Okay. And so you drop a sticky in there to let us know which question is valuable to you. You can say who you are or you can leave it anonymous. But first we want to crowdsource which questions the group finds valuable to have a conversation around. Does that make sense? Any questions from anybody? Any questions? Okay, I can see that some people are already grabbing some stickies there. And to answer Andrea's, no, it was not Eye of the Tiger. It was Help from the Beatles. Help from the Beatles. Okay. Is anybody having an issue accessing it through the Jamboard? Please let us know so we can assist you if at all possible. Okay. So what we're doing is we're looking at the different sets of questions that are here on the other Jamboards. And I'm scrolling through them. So I want you guys to scroll through them too. Don't just stop at the middle. Keep going because we've got quite a few of them. And these are really good questions, by the way. So I want to thank the team who called these questions for us to work with. So I'm just going to give us a couple of minutes. Couple of minutes. Oh wow! Look at that. That thing is blowing up, Rick.
How much time? How many days are we going to be
I'm
doing
gonna
this?
give you guys. No. I'm only gonna give you a couple of minutes. I'm only gonna give you a couple of minutes. Matter of fact, just because we're coaches and we don't mind time boxes, I'm gonna go ahead and put up an online timer. Okay, since we've already had about a minute, I'm going to give us about a minute and 30 seconds. Okay, so Rick and I are going to stay in suspense. We're going to stay looking at this timer while you guys are working on the Jamboard. So technically speaking, it'll kind of be a surprise to us what you guys choose that you guys want to talk about. Yeah, is the suspense killing you, Rick? Because the suspense is killing me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one more minute, folks. One more minute. All right. This could be interesting. Could be interesting. Yeah. And while we're waiting for the timer to wind down, Rick, are Agile coaches supposed to have all the answers?
I have all the answers. I don't know about you.
You do?
Yeah, I have completely all
Okay.
the answers.
So you've been keeping that book of all the answers from me then. That's what it is.
I got that list. So anytime you need it, I got it.
Wow, man. That's not cool. That's not cool. Yeah.
I think that, obviously that's probably no. We don't have all the answers. In fact, the answers to truly buy in on something has to be absorbed by the people you're working with, right? So even if we did have the answer, it might not work for you. It really won't. Where are you at? Where are you at in your career? Where are you at in your journey, right? And what will work for you, right? So that's really the answer we're looking for. It's something that deeply, impacts you and motivates you, right? To learn more, because your answer might be what we feel is the wrong answer, but did you learn from it? Did you get to the next step of your journey, right? That's really what I see as a coach helping out with.
42.
42? My God, it's going to take a long.
Somebody's been reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. All right, so I'll tell you what, we have an awful lot of a lot of the questions out there. So what I'm going to ask a couple of the folks on the team, and I'm going to let you guys self-organize, is if you can, for Rick and I, help organize these things into categories where you feel the same question is being asked, maybe in a different way, but it's around the same question. So give you about a minute and kind of organize them into group. I mean, I see kind of a group over here forming. I kind of see a little, oh, this is a conversation about metrics, Marcelo, and okay, we're talking about cross-functional teams over here. So I kind of see some natural groups there, but I want to give you guys a minute to kind of group them up in there so we've got some cohesiveness. Okay, so let's take a minute to do that. I'll reset the timer and give you guys a minute to do that. Okay, go ahead and organize those things into some groups. Into some groups, you know.
So Marcelo, let me ask you a question, because you asked me earlier about, giving advice and all that. So have you been in a situation where you truly feel like someone could hurt themselves or hurt their organization, right? Or, they're heading in the wrong track, and they still don't get it. After a while, you're coaching them and you're telling them, look, when do you feel like there's time where you have to just step in, and how do you deal with that? I'm wondering, because we're being restrained, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So while we're waiting for that timer to go down, and I'll use the last 13 seconds to talk about that. When I'm coaching somebody, usually what I'll do is I'll ask questions, and if I see them doing something that repetitively isn't really helping them, I ask the question: when you do something and it's not going the way you want, how do you know to stop? When do you know to stop? And then sometimes, if I really want to say it as not contextually to them, I'll say, I've been doing this thing and it doesn't seem like it's working. When do you think I should stop? When do you think I should stop? I put myself in the vulnerable position and I ask them for the help.
I like that. That way it takes the pressure off of them, and they're now having to empathize with you, which opens the door for their own learning. So that's
correct.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
because now they've recognized the potential for needing to be self-aware enough about things that they could be potentially doing to themselves that are not productive. But you did it in a non-confrontational way, and you use something else that maybe in the future we'll have a conversation with here about. It's called clean language.
Clean language.
Clean language. Yeah. We'll come back to that in a future time. So,
okay.
Oh my God, Rick! Wow, these people are hungry. I don't know how we're going to feed them all. This is incredible. So, looks like we've got 2 questions around agile culture and servant leadership, which you could say. Okay. Couple of questions about how to build an effective agile team and what makes a good practitioner. Okay. So I want to, feed us. Right. Feed us. Well, so I'm going to play a little bit of, how should I say this? Kind of like putting somebody on the spot. Okay.
Wow.
The spot. Yeah, I'm going to put somebody on the spot. I'm going to choose somebody at random. Okay.
Wow.
To make a choice, kind of like as a product owner. Okay. And for some of you who may know about different agile approaches, a product owner is somebody who says, I want to maximize the value out of the results for the team. And so I'm going to just at random, and hopefully they can go off of mute. Okay. And I'm going to ask them, as a product owner, make a choice for what you think, given what the team has said. Okay. What would give the team the greatest value? That's a lot of pressure, I know, but that gives you an idea of the pressure a product owner is under. So I'm looking at, and I'm going to ask one of our new family members, Harita, if you could unmute yourself, please. I want you as a product owner to choose what you think the most valuable thing is for us to help out with. Please tell us.
I mean, you want to add value, but it depends on the domain you're working on.
Well, you know as much as you know about what the situation is, and the context is, Harita. You have a set of options, okay? You have a set of options, and you have a set of You
Mhm.
have some idea what the options are, and you're asked to make a choice. Kind of tough, isn't it?
Mhm. The choice that gives me the most,
So
the,
so
the,
yeah, so
the
just
highest
take,
value on investment.
yeah, so take your best understanded guess of what from here would be of value to the team, the highest value to the team. Take a shot. No question here is wrong.
Okay. Let's start with getting an idea of what a cross-functional team is. This is new to me. I'm not
Oh,
sure
wow.
if there are other members.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. So let's talk about this for a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to run this kind of how we run some of our sessions. Okay. I'm going to give us 10 minutes, a pretty generous amount. You think it's a generous amount, right? But wait till we get started. All right. So I'm going to pose a question to the rest of the team here. When you hear cross-functional team, okay, and I'm going to take us to the place where that question was, okay, which is page 7. Oh, I went too far. Whoops. I went too far. Okay. So on this page, which I'm going to drop in the chat, okay, I want to see, what do you guys think? Use that link in the chat. What do you think that question means? When you think of cross-functional team, what picture shows up in your mind? What picture shows up in your mind? When you see cross-functional team, what picture shows up in your mind? Come on over to this page. Don't worry, we'll be navigating back and forth between the different pages when we talk about different questions. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and start the timer in the background. So let's go at it quickly and let's capture what our ideas are. What does cross-functional team mean? What do you guys think? Okay, we've got some ideas already. Got some ideas already. All right, there we go. It's starting to take some shape here. Starting to take some shape. Woohoo. Oh, got a couple of folks that think they should be able to self-manage. Okay. All right.
It just deleted it. So I don't know.
It just deleted it. There we go. Okay, somebody coming in with a movie reference. I love it. Okay. I is coming in with a statement inside of the chat called different departments. Okay. All right, so we've got some ideas in there. Ants, the movie, fully cross-functional team. Wow, more movie references. Value stream delivery. Okay, that's an interesting observation. That's an interesting observation. Fantastic. Okay. Wow, trust, respect, transparency. Rick, we're not dealing with amateurs here. We're out of our league. We're out of our league here. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. These are
I'm
some very interesting observations that you guys have made here. Okay, so I'm going to pose a question back to the product owner. Product owner, which one do you think is correct? And don't feel bad if you feel that you're wrong or not right. That don't worry about it. Which one do you think is correct?
I mean, the different departments one gives like the keywords in a very concise way, I think. So it is people from different departments. This is also a mix of skill sets, as someone else said.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this question. If you were the coach and someone came up to you and asked you, hey, coach, can you help me understand what a cross-functional team is? Do you feel that in here is something that you have to work with to help out that person? And now I'm going to open up the floor to everybody. What do you think?
Okay, this question is for me or for all of us?
Yeah, this question is for all of you now. If you were the coach in this situation and someone came to you and asked you, hey, coach, can you help me? What is a cross-functional team? You know, somebody walked up to Godwin or Laura or Brandon.
I would say it's a team made of people from different departments. It's kind of reminds me of the alliance in the Lord of the Rings, where you have one character from each faction. So it's something like this here. From each department, you have at least one person who comes with their skill set and acts as a focal point with that department. This is my understanding about it.
One ring to serve them all.
One ring to serve them all. Yeah. Yeah. Any other observations? Any other opinions? I mean, I'm loving where Hartha's gone with this, but any other observations or opinions? If you were this coach and one of your team members says, what is this cross-functional thing they're talking about? What if a manager in your organization came up to you with this question? Do you feel you have something to work with here?
So are you saying a yes or no answer on this one?
Well, and if you do, how might you use some of what you see here? Because, for example, Hartha said, hey, I see it as like kind of like the Lord of the Rings alliance. And he actually gave us a movie metaphor.
I like what Andrea put in. She put DC Comics has a great cross-functional team. The Justice League or Marvel's got, 1, 2, X-Men.
Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. Any other observations? Any other thoughts about this?
When you look at all the stickies, is there one that stands out where you think it's questionable? I'm just wondering if you look at all the stickies right now and you say, this one I just don't understand if it really means cross-functional.
Point out the one what Joe put there, and then I'll tell you that's the one.
Which one? You want to highlight?
Whatever Joe put up, that's the one what doesn't belong.
Whatever Joe put up, that's Joe. They just don't like you. Just be aware.
Hey, Andrew, I just said that's a good thing you put up there, and then, geez, where's the love?
I'm just curious. Is there any one out there that feels like, hey, this might be something that's doesn't fit in here?
I'm just curious. Yeah. They're quiet for a Wednesday night, Rick. They're writing like stickies like crazy people all over the place, but they're shy to talk.
I don't know if the different departments, if it has to do with.
I'm not sure about the organized tyranny around product. I'm not sure about that.
And also different departments. Is it like a team that is comprises of people coming from different departments making up the team? So I don't know that one too. I don't know.
And what about independent and interdependent?
That's interesting. That's an interesting observation. Independent and interdependent. I'm curious who put that sticky up there. If you would be able to be comfortable to share what your mental metaphor was when you were thinking about independent and interdependent. I'm curious too.
That's the problem with these anonymous posts. No one wants to own them.
No one wants to own them.
Let's just blame it on Joe, and that's it.
Blame it on Joe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Joe, why did you put that up there?
I'm gonna go back to the song. Help! I need somebody.
Yeah. I want to point out.
No, I can tell you why it kind of confused me, but I don't. I didn't put that one up there.
Well, let me put it to you. Let me put it to you this way. What if I put this?
Oh yeah.
Next to that. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
What did I put up there? The idea was independent and interdependent. What did I put in the sticky? There's a word for it. I want to see if you guys connected. And by the way, there's more examples of it on the board. Give you a few seconds. Okay. I'm not trying to be aloof. The word I'm thinking is the word metaphor. People, when they think about something, they usually start with, can you picture this? They're looking for a metaphor inside their mind, in their subconscious somewhere, that they can put a picture to something. Whoops, I think we hit the time box on this. They're looking for a picture on something that they can help connect the concept with. Okay. And so what I draw from this exercise on Coach, can you help me with, what is a cross-functional team?
Cross-pollination.
Yeah, that some of you guys started off with ideas, and then some of you start off with your metaphors. Okay. So since this is open and you guys have the link, I'm going to say, you know what, go and bookmark it. And later on, go back and think about if you were going to you felt like saying, let's see here, self-managing team, go back and think of how would I express self-managing team using a metaphor? Okay, and give the person a picture to begin with before you engage in the rest of the conversation. Does that make sense? Cool?
Yes.
Cool. Do we feel good with where we got to with this question? Can we go pull another one from the backlog, so to speak? Awesome. Okay, let's go back to that first page where we started. Whoops, sorry, not that one. The one that has my bad picture. Oof. Okay.
I do want you to observe the way Marcelo did that exercise. Okay, he really asked a lot of questions. He's really kind of, finagling it so that you guys can come up with the right answer that fits you. Okay, I think make sure you're looking at him as you're going through these activities. Sorry, Marcelo, go ahead.
No, that's okay. That's okay, because what Rick has just pointed out is that part of a big part, I would say, of a coach's job is to help the person sort through, make sense of, and organize their own way of thinking about things. Okay, part of that is to draw them out away from their issue or their concern. Okay, and help them reframe the circumstances that's bouncing around inside of their noggin. Okay. So I want to say thank you for Hartha for having given us cross-functional team, but I'm going to put somebody else in the spot. I'm going to shift product owners. Okay. So I'm going to pick somebody who I haven't seen talk a whole lot in a while. Matt, or actually, you know what? Take that back. Matt, I'm taking it away from you. Maureen, could you serve as our product owner and tell us which one of these questions that remain would be the next most valuable question for Coach? Can you help me with? Please unmute yourself and pick for us.
I apologize. I'm actually in the kitchen and just listening in. I'm really sorry today.
Okay. All right. So you can't see us. That's all right. Okay, good. So
Marcelo, her
listen.
punishment is she's gonna share the food with us.
yeah, I don't know what she's cooking, but it smells good from here.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what then. I'm going to scroll down again and I'm going to ask Dana. Dana, would you mind unmuting yourself and being our product owner and choose a next most valuable question for us?
I'm going to go with the question down at the bottom. How to coach a platform team who's delivering technical value enablement?
Ooh, this one right here. That's an interesting question. Ouch. Yeah, I'm gonna have to copy this one because was this question on another page and maybe I missed it? I don't know, but that's okay because we did open the floor to questions. So I'm gonna
and it's actually my question. But since you promoted me to product owner, I felt like that was a high value point for Agile coaches because in general, people don't address Scrum teams in the context of platform teams.
Right.
And when I say platform, I mean those teams that are, there's a emerging product, for example, and you don't always are able to go by the book in terms of value stream delivery because you have to spend program increments and cycles trying to even flush out a framework for what it is you're trying to quote unquote invent before you can even package up something to present to a business partner to say, hey, here's an idea of how to move the platform forward or the product forward is not yet fully flushed out, but I'm ready to take your business requirements, right? And now I can take the business requirements, apply them to this framework, and voila, you start to develop this new capability, new functionality, new enablement. And then from there, you're able to move forward. So things like acceptance criteria aren't always upfront and known. How much is how much to bite off. The breakdown of the work isn't always there. I may be teaching right now, but I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Wow.
Marcelo, that was a mistake by you.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Can I pick the mic up off the floor?
Yeah, take it back.
Yeah. So she gave us a lot to chunk on there.
Yep.
She gave us a lot to chunk on there. I'm gonna ask you guys to bear with me because I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties here. Ricardo, could you create a new page for me inside of the Jamboard really quickly between pages 2 and 3?
Sure thing. Let me do
so that I can create the question there since we're kind of taking it ad hoc. Oh, thank you, Ricardo.
Coach.
Ricardo is now with us. And what I need you to do is to create a page between pages 2 and 3, please.
The thing is that we have reached the limit. So I'm going to move one to other Jamboard and I'm going to create your page, okay?
Awesome, spectacular. Oh, so that's why it wasn't letting me do, of course, because Marcelo can't count to 20. Yay. Well, technically, you know what?
Okay, can you see your now?
Yes. Awesome. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sticky with Dana's question. And you guys heard her talk about a little bit about this thing is. So I'm gonna put it this way, okay? From what Dana said, do you know? What are you not sure about? And know that you don't know. And the idea here is, if you're going to help this person, you're going to have to make some sense out of this. So I'm going to ask you guys to help Dana make some sense. Okay? So from what Dana explained, what do you know? What are you not sure about? And what you know that you don't know? And I'm going to go ahead and set the online timer again for 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start it. And Dana, as you see questions, as they're capturing questions, talk them through what their question is so that the rest of the team here can hear what the context is. So pick whichever one you want and help the team understand.
Yes. So as questions hit the board here, what is a platform team? A platform team is usually your infrastructure team, right? Just to throw out an example, very simple. If you're building a machine learning model, right, that you're going to build a UI interface to for which customers will interact with, typically your business is focused on the UI part of it, what features we want to wow the customer with, right? What capabilities and functions we want to present before the customers. Whereas this platform team is more so behind the scenes. We only want to know that you want to do something. Whatever that something is, I may have to train the model or create a new algorithm to be able to make that happen. So for example, if you're looking for your product to be able to train itself in production, if you're thinking about an AI model, you just can't put an AI model out and say, okay, now I can suddenly start self-training. No, it takes about 18 months to develop a deep learning type of model before you can even present it back to the business. So during that 18-month window, you're considered a Scrum team liable for Scrum principles and things of that sort, value add sprint over sprint. But your sprints are really around research and development. It's about building a framework, selling a concept before you can even start to do anything. So just adding some context around platform team, infrastructure, good. Let me get some of the pink note stickies. So customer value, I'll take that one in the middle there. You won't have customer value until you actually put something on the market, right? Until that capability that's being built, until it's actually ready to be used or consumed, I would say, there is no value to the customer or the business at this point. So you're consuming sprint points for n number of cycles, sprint cycles, but there's no value being delivered during that time frame because you're building a framework, you're building out infrastructure, et cetera.
Wow, that's a lot. You know what surprises me though, Dana? Is after all that, most of the things coming up on that board are still in the know that you don't know area.
Yes, and that's the thing, right? You don't know until you do your research, do your development. You may have to put up a test model. You may have to train it to you may have to flood it with some existing data that's known, right? You have this known data. How can I correlate that into doing what I actually want it to do, right? You need cycles to be able to do that. So you don't necessarily have tangible deliverables at the end. Your deliverables are more so like a design concept that's broken down to say, is this feasible? Is this feasible? Okay, that works. Now, what if I do this, right? That's what you're doing for several sprints, almost 2 program increments or 3 program increments worth.
Wow. I'm gonna press pause here because I'm gonna turn around and ask a question. If you're the coach and someone comes up to you with this question, okay, given what the team here has done so far, I'm going to actually ask 2 questions, okay? Does the person who came up to you with the question have, quote unquote, watch my fingers, a solution? What do you guys think? Do they have a solution? Let's put this out there to anybody. What do you think? Okay, but you're the customer. I'm asking them.
I was just helping them out. I was just helping them out.
Trying to help them out, but I'm asking them. What do you guys think? What does everybody else think? Do you think the customer has a solution? Don't ignore what Dina just said or tried to. Do you think the customer or do you think the person has a solution? Okay. Does the asker have a solution? Nobody. You got nothing.
I mean, the customer approaches the team because they need the solution, right?
Yeah, but the customer right now is the person who came up and asked you this question. In a sense. Remember, I put just as in the same in the previous question, you're putting now the role of the coach. And the coach, they have approached you and asked you, okay, how do I go about doing this? Let's say that this is another coach. You're a coach and another coach comes to you and asks you this question. Does that customer of yours who is a coach have a solution? What do you think? Do they have a solution here?
It depends.
Good answer. Tell me more.
So say in your example, you just said a coach is going to another coach. He may have what he thinks is a solution or a solution, and maybe he's just trying to get feedback to whether someone else would do the same thing or take the same approach, or told him he's way off.
Okay. Okay. That's really good. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot, as a matter of fact. Okay. Anybody else have a thought on this? Okay. So then my second question, because remember I asked, yes, bees, of course. I asked the second question, or rather I was going to ask a second question. Okay. Do they have something to work from? Does this person have something to work from? Open question. Does this person have something to work from? What do you guys think? No takers. These are heady questions, I guess.
I must be good at asking questions.
Yeah, you made them think. You made them think, Dana. I got to work with you more often. I got to work with you more often. Okay. Yeah. Do you guys mind if I give my impression? Would that be okay? Okay.
Sure.
I'm going to pose it this way. As a coach, do you think you've done your due diligence? Notice that I answered with a question. Do you feel as a coach you did your due diligence by having this person go through an exercise like this? You had the person go through an exercise like this. Do you feel that as a coach, you fulfilled this. Do you feel that you fulfilled that? No takers. Wow. Did I put you guys to sleep? I guess they must all be thinking about this deeply.
So if they're thinking that deeply, maybe the question, no, I'm gonna say no.
You're going to say no? You think that you have, as a coach, you haven't done that?
Nope.
Nix.
Because they're still in deep thought, or they don't know. Like, I don't feel like that's been solved.
Okay. Is your role, let me ask you this question. Is your role as a coach to solve the problem?
No,
No.
it's to help others solve the problem.
Okay, so then I'm going to dig even further. Did you help? Okay, I'm going to
So
flip
by
it back.
so by
Andy.
doing this exercise, did you help the person out? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
By executing this exercise, does the
Correct.
person feel like they're closer to a possible solution, or at least
Or even simpler than that, Rick, to possibly understanding the problem better.
So here's a question, going based off what you just said.
Mhm.
You're coaching somebody and you're looking for either some feedback to, did I solve your problem? Did I answer your question? Do you know where to turn to now? Have I helped you? So I guess, going back and, whoever you're coaching or working with or,
Okay.
helping out, you do need some of that feedback as well to find out whether your question was answered or not.
Every once in a while, somebody asks me, hey, tell me something from your bag of tricks, Marcelo. It's not a bag of tricks. It's really, really, very simple. Ask this question. That's it.
love it, love it.
Did
I'm
this, did
curious.
that help?
I'm curious, Marcelo. The way I look at this question here, I still think it's so heavy.
Mhm.
Like there was probably a way to maybe to go to a smaller level of it, right? Like
Mhm.
what is coaching to you? Because that's still there's questions to be asked on that. And then she went down and asked all these questions, errors including metrics, acceptance rate. Like there's a lot here
Yeah.
to untangle. And
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yep.
remember, what do they teach you in Agile? What do we do with a complex problem, right?
Rip apart.
Rip
Decompose.
it apart. And as long as you start with one small area and you get a little traction there, and then the other stuff becomes clearer and clearer. But if you start looking at this all as a question, it still bogs my mind. I'm still
Right.
going so
You're
many different places right now. I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
Um,
I think from a coach to a coach perspective, if I can chime in just for a second, we talk about Agile and these value streams and things of that sort, right? When you set out to deliver a product, you have a coach that's available to coach the teams that are being stood up. And so let's say this product requires 4 Agile teams to be stood up. 3 of those teams are going to be interacting with the line of businesses in terms of those are your customers, the business partners, to actually develop features for this product. Think about Microsoft Word. You got your file menu, your home menu, your insert, your design. That's what these teams are delivering, what the end user is going to experience. But in order for Microsoft Word to exist, there's some infrastructure that has to happen. So one of those teams that you're coaching with this same methodology of Agile, which is, hey, you guys are going to do daily stand-ups, you guys are going to do sprint planning, you guys are going to do retrospects, you're going to put your stories in a repository, Jira or Rally. And this is how we're going to start off with this set of features, right? So far, so good. All 4 teams can follow the coach's direction to get stood up as a team. Now, when it comes to the point where we're talking about what we're delivering for this sprint, right? It's clear for the other 3 teams that we got to build some UI, we got to build some widgets, we got to build some buttons. When I click here, I'm going to go there. But for this, so when at the end of their sprint, they're going to have something tangible to put forth, right? They're going to be able to estimate and do all of those great things that Agile allows us to do in our cycles, right? In our sprint cycles. But for this infrastructure team, it's not as cut and dry for them, right? What are they delivering at the end of the sprint, right? They're sometimes waiting for the other 3 teams to say, hey, I got to do file, grab this document. Where are the documents stored? Okay, great. I have a story on my infrastructure backlog that I got to build out a database. So when I say file, insert, or whatever the case may be, I'm actually pulling from a database. Great, I got something to do. But when you start thinking about emerging things to take the product outside of the basic stuff, let's say you want to next year have a piece of AI built into how you search for documents, right? Now, who's going to go off and build that? That's that infrastructure team. So from the time that AI is available for you to actually plug into your Word application, how is this team delivering value? How do you coach that team to go through the process of velocity and story breakdowns and, all of that stuff? So the question, while it's meaty, the root of the question is really around how do you coach a team that's delivering enablement features or infrastructure type features, right? That's really the question. The surrounding details is just the outcome of just because you're in the Agile team framework methodology, right?
So
does that help?
I have a question for you. What does what this team produces, okay, does it, because I've seen you, I've heard you use different metaphors for things.
Yes.
Okay. Are the metaphors that you're using, and that's an open question, appropriate for the work that this team is doing?
The first metaphor I use with the AI model, that's more appropriate for this team, right?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about those things. I was talking more about the Agile metaphors like sprints, user stories, velocity. That's a question that was in my mind. Because sometimes, and I'll go on the record, and some people are like, oh my God, Marcelo, you actually said that? Yeah. Sometimes Scrum is not the answer. Oh my God, write a press release.
Record that. We got that recorded. We're going to play it back on LinkedIn.
Sometimes Scrum is not the answer. Sometimes Scrum is not the answer. Okay.
Yeah. And you don't want to revert a team back to waterfall either, right? Because some of that looks waterfallish, from my perspective. If I had to coach somebody that was trying to coach such a team, I mean, you're basically putting them back in this, engineering type of waterfall framework that allows them that time and to release them that pressure from having to deliver in a Scrum type of format. But if you have an organization that's delivering Scrum,
let's make sure we understand what when we say Agile, I would love to know what we're saying Agile is, right? Who could tell me what Agile is? What's the most important part of Agile? Anybody want to answer that?
You mean the mindset?
The mindset. So are we saying, yes, you're going to be working in this kind of different, maybe not Scrum like Marcelo said, but if you have the mindset, what is that going to give you? How are you going to coach? You said coaching. Is that coaching possibility there for you when you take into account the mindset? Do you see yourself using the mindset as something that's going to help you, even if you're not in the so-called Scrum framework?
Mhm.
That's a question to the product owner. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Oh,
curious.
a question to me. Yeah, and you.
No, I
don't-
think Dana's the product
Dana.
owner. Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah.
Dana.
I think if I'm hearing your question correctly, you're saying that the dilemma here is more attributed to the mindset.
Maybe. Maybe.
So if you're coaching an organization that is running Scrum teams, but you know you have infrastructure to deliver in advance of anything else being delivered.
What are you asking us? What Rick and or I would do?
I think that's just let's just jump right to that.
You're trying to fence us in. Well, I mean, I can share with you my experience. I mean, I'm sure Rick's is going to vary. I don't know if he wants to go first or, he wants me to.
Go ahead, Marcelo. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm actually working with a team that's in your similar situation. Okay. And it's a team that it itself is using Scrum for what it builds, but it depends on a couple of other teams that are enabling teams, and those teams are not using Scrum. And so what we work is a synchronization mechanism between the team that is making the front end of the machine learning system to the teams that are building the enablement platform beneath it, the data, the ML models, right? The data lake. Okay. Yeah. Those teams are using are using Kanban. And they synchronize between them on, I need this enablement, this for me to be able to meet this particular thing that I want to build a front end on. Okay. And so they're planning the Kanban teams' works several sprints in advance to be able to basically meet at some point, and then they diverge again, and then they meet, and then they diverge again, and then they meet again, and then they on and on based off of the objectives of what they want to be able to publish from the models. Does that make sense to you, Dana?
Yes, I'm connected. Yep.
Okay. So, and by the way, for everybody who's listening, that is an approach, not the approach.
Yeah.
That's just an approach.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. This has been a really good conversation. But I think we've got a little bit of time left, and maybe we can tackle one more. What do you think, Rick? Up for one?
Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Okay. So I'm gonna put somebody on the spot here. So because they've been really quiet. And so I'm gonna say, hey, Ray, kind of unmute yourself, put yourself as product owner here, and choose what's the next most valuable thing to have a coach help us with. What do you think?
Ray is a very common name and is often associated with many human beings. So
NALDO.
Okay, hold it. Give me a second.
Thank you for
the Lord has not blessed me with good eyesight, so I left my glasses somewhere. No, he's asking me to pick one, but I can't read because I don't have my glasses.
Okay. You want to zoom? Here, we'll zoom.
Okay, I have a pair of glasses. So it's important to have this. All right. So you want me to go into the
pick a topic. Pick one of the topics.
Look at the
topic.
Look at the zoom.
From page 2, is that correct?
That is correct. Look at the zoom.
Okay, sir, I am looking.
Please don't pick cross-functional because we had the conversation already.
Yes, sir. I figured you were going to tell me that.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and reset the timer 10 minutes, because then we'll be able to have a little closeout. Go for
Okay,
it.
I know that Agile culture, and what is Agile culture, is often a topic of discussion, and it ties a little bit to leadership. So I think, with your permission and the permission of all the participants, that's how maybe we close it out.
Okay. All right. Let's go to let's go to culture, and hopefully my Safari cooperates. My browser cooperates. I think it's page 7, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody help me out. Yes, it's page 7. Don't ask me how I knew that. It was entirely a lucky guess. It was entirely a lucky guess.
Lucky sir.
On my entirely a lucky guess. Okay. So, looking at Agile culture.
So Marcelo, why don't we pause you and see if someone can come up with the right questions? I want them to be like you right now. Like, what question would Marcelo ask?
Oh, you don't want to do that.
I'm just curious what other people would right now, the way you've been teaching them, you showed them already two exercises, how you were able to pull. I'm wondering what question if you were Marcelo right now leading this exercise, what's the question you would ask the group? I'm just wondering how much they learned from you, Marcelo.
If they're lucky, nothing.
So now you're acting like Marcelo right now. This is the question. You've got a team in front of you. You don't want to give them the answer. He gave you that one. You don't want to give them the answer, but you want to give them specific questions that will drive them to start thinking through this. Give me something that Marcelo's going to go like this. You got it. All right. Let's see, Marcelo. Let's see how you did. This is your report card here. I'm sorry. Sorry to put you on the spot there. If you were Marcelo, what would you be asking the team so that you can generate the feedback they need to self-realize, what this means? Marcelo, is anybody close?
Laklam wants a link to the board, so I'm going to go ahead and share the link to the board for that person. I'm going to post it in the chat, Lak, so you get it. Interesting. Interesting.
You can grade them, Marcelo. You can put the F students to the right, the A students to the left.
I'm not gonna
be the bad guy. Be the bad guy. Be the bad guy.
I'm not gonna grade them. I'm gonna put something that I used today into practice.
All right. I need some controversy here. I mean, we need to get the. All right. If culture were a flower, what kind of flower would it be? Oh my God.
So I want you to think, yeah, what is culture? Can you see it? Can you see it? I like that sticky. What is culture? Can you see it? And if you see it and you chose a metaphor.
Okay, so that's your answer. That's your approach. This is the way you would have approached that question,
Yeah.
Marcelo. You would have asked that. So that's what So did anybody else get close to kind of a question like that, or I'm just curious. Did anybody else, out of all the stuff that they put there? I don't know. All right.
I like those questions though. I gotta tell you, I really do.
Okay.
But
that's
but technically speaking, I'm using the same kind of thing that we were using in the very first question.
Yes. But that's a good one though.
I'm using the same sort of approach. Remember, when people are going to ask a question, they have a picture in their mind. Okay? And so you want to try to probe what picture they're using to capture that. So I try to use a metaphor to try to get them to think about it in a term that they can relate to much more concretely, yet still abstractly. Okay.
Okay, so I guess so we're gonna stop and say, if culture was a flower, what kind of flower would that be, right?
So why don't you guys, why don't you guys post that in the chat? If you were going to
answer that,
if you were going to answer that, if culture were a flower, what kind of flower would it be? Just post it in the chat.
I want to tell a story about that. little one.
That's fine.
So when I was working at Nextera Energy and I was doing a project, my product owner named the project Buttercup. And I'm like, Buttercup?
Okay.
Why Buttercup? He's like, oh, it's, beautiful flower, represents joy, youth, happiness and friendship. So maybe Buttercup is a good answer to that. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay, so we've got some different answers inside of the chat. A pollinator, flower, daffodil, rose that has thorns, more like a weed than a flower. Okay, and okay, I know what Powerpuff Girl is. Okay, I get that. I know those. I know that the cartoon. Yeah. So actually, Ray went to the next step. Okay, so once they start describing something, you could ask the person to say, well, what else about it? That tell me more kind of question. What else about it? What's unique about that flower? Okay. And then you could continue to ask them questions about the attributes of that flower and why those attributes are what they are. And then further probatively ask them, why do those attributes matter? For example, like a rose has thorns. Well, why do the thorns matter? Don't thorns hurt? Why do the thorns matter? Okay.
That is a really good technique. Is that picked from something, or is that from your experience, or
yes, it is.
That's really good, Marcelo.
Yeah, that is a technique. That is a technique of what I alluded to earlier, called using clean language. Using clean language, and I'm actually hopeful that I can bring a noted authority in that subject to come share with us at some point in the near future. So I'm putting something.
Judy Marcelo?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, Judy?
That is correct. That is correct.
And
Judy Rees.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcelo, I guess you picked flower because that's something you wanted to pick. But if you knew the group a little bit better, maybe these people like cars or like whatever, you could actually change that to make it more fit the environment as well, right? But this,
knowing the group, you could tune the question to use a metaphor that can help them better connect. Like, for example, if you knew that they were really into I think Joe mentioned DC or Marvel, you could ask them, okay, if culture were one of these superheroes, okay,
Right.
What superhero, what kind of superhero, what kind of powers, why is that power important? How is that power useful? And then have them talk through the aspects of the metaphor that help them connect back to the base question, which was, what is an agile culture?
It's really cool. Good job. All right, guys. So it's 7:24. So this is really the end of the session. Marcelo, great job. I'm gonna applaud for you. Okay. So again, please make sure you join us on Saturday as well. I want to take a quick group picture. Please turn on your cameras as soon as you can. Quick. So we can get that.
I'm gonna leave. Is it okay if we leave the video Zoom, or do we want to turn off the share, Rick?
Turn off the share a
Okay,
second,
turn off the
Ricardo.
share,
Yeah,
okay.
perfect.
I guess.